and Hardy.
Yeah,
So it's like a Mel Brooks joke.
Gotcha.
So,
I see.
Here, I was all on.
Okay.
It's here and there.
Okay.
Today's the 9th.
Yeah, it is the 9th.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, good point.
So,
Oh, so the wrong date's on there, Janet.
okay.
What?
Yeah.
Date's on there.
Can't really say good morning. I guess it's
I
good
was thinking
afternoon at
good
noon. Is that right? Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order for March 9th at noon. And Janet, can you do a roll call from that?
As soon as I change the date.
Oh,
Yeah, that's,
okay, well, we're
I have
correcting the date
vacation
on.
mode on my brain. Nice job, Janet.
Thank you.
Want it celebration.
oh, okay. I guess
So
I-
now we will do roll call. Thank you, Janet, for correcting
Charles
it.
Black-Lance,
Here.
Kevin Boyles,
Here.
Tom Hageland, Ruth Nelson,
Here.
Jana Sjogren,
Here.
Sarah Spear.
Here.
5 of the 6 present.
Thank you, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I still am not used to this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So first up, we have the approval of the agenda, and it is amended. There are some additional long list of recognitions, and we're going to do those a little differently this time since there are so many. We're going to go around the table and each take 2, and we'll start with Director Spear when we get to that. And the other thing is the director's ratification of the director's contract is in this agenda. So I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second it.
Okay, first from Director Spear, a second from Director Boyles. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those not in favor, same sign. All in favor, and the agenda is approved as amended. So we'll start right off with recognitions.
I will go first. So you're right, it is a long list. Congratulations, and I had the honor of attending the Legendary Women in Brainerd Public Schools last week, and we had a number of inductees. So we celebrated the 2022 inductees and last year's because we weren't able to have that celebration. So the 2022 inductees were Marie Adolphson Landsberg, Carrie Frisch, Diane Nagel-Runberg, Pam Selnow O'Rourke, Aaron Rossinger Christopher, Rebecca Ye Matheson, and then last year's inductees were Jill Carlson Casper, Ruthie Henderson Geminder, Bernice Leckband Humphrey Ostlin, Christine Martinson Ferguson, Catherine Nolan Benson, Linda Olson Engel, Pamela Siegel Thompson, Amy Ward Aho, Donna Winkleman Bjorkland Whalen. And that's it. So congratulations to those women. It was a fun event, wonderful to see all the celebration. And then, should I read the second one?
Sure.
Okay. And also congratulations to Erin Carlgard of Lowell Elementary. She's a 3rd grade teacher there for being named 2022 Minnesota Teacher of the Year semifinalists. And the finalists will be named April 30th of this year.
My turn. Congratulations to the Brainerd High School Knowledge Bowl teams for advancing 2 teams to the state tournament. In the recent region meet, Brainerd took both first and second place. Brainerd team members are Colton Doles, Reed Bokerman, Carlton Anderson, Nick Backstrom, Nick Moore, Roland Tigano, Carolyn Gaddix, and Christopher Gaddix. The state tournament will be held at Cragun's Resort on April 7th and April 8th. Also like to congratulate the varsity dance team for finishing 6th in the MSHSL State Jazz Competition and 4th in the MSHSL State Kick Competition.
Wonderful. Congratulations to the boys Alpine Ski Team for finishing 4th in the MSHSL State Meet, and the girls Nordic Ski Team for finishing 5th in the MSHSL State Meet. And I'll do the third one since those were so short. Congratulations to the boys Nordic Ski Team for finishing 9th in the MSHSL State Meet.
Okay, and we have congratulations to our Warrior Girls Hockey Team for being the Section 8AA Conference champions.
And then they also advanced to the state tournament. We did not have the outcome we were hoping for, but they had some great games. Congratulations to the Warrior Boys swimming team for winning the Section 8 AA section. They had 5 members advance to the state high school tournament. We have some results from that too, but the athletes qualifying were Thomas Rule, Caden Suption, Cade Rosenwald, Mason Keepers, Parker Tavji, and new records were set by Brainerd swimmers Thomas Rule and Cade Rosenwald, Mason Keepers, and Parker Tavji as well. The two relays, which were both fourth posted times under All-American consideration time. So lots of success with our swim team. And then it also led to our coach, John Zemke, being named the 8 AA Boys Swimming and Diving Coach of the Year.
Congratulations to Coach Carl Shermer for being named Section 8 AA Boys Swimming and Diving Assistant Coach of the Year. Also, congratulations to Warrior Wrestlers Easton Dirks, 113 pounds, Gabe Wagner, 152 pounds, Damian Bentho, 170 pounds, and then Dalton Barrett, 285 pounds for winning Section 8A individual titles and qualifying for the Minnesota State High School League State Wrestling Tournament being held March 3rd to the 5th of this year at the Xcel Energy Center. 3 of the participants earned all-state honors. Senior Gabe Wagner took 3rd place at the 152 pound category, and then also, or class. Senior Dalton Barrett took 6th place at the 285 pound, and 8th grader Easton Dirks took 4th place at 113 pounds.
Glad we don't have to weigh in for our roll call or anything. It's a lot of information. Congratulations to the Warrior girls basketball team for being named Central Lakes Conference champions. Congratulations to senior Maya Nelson for scoring her 1,000th point in basketball Thursday, February 24th, 2022. That's pretty awesome. Congratulations to the Warrior robotics team for finishing 5th at the Lake Superior Regional in Duluth this past weekend. The team finished 5th out of 58 teams and earned the right to be the number 4 Alliance captain that entered the finals matches. An Alliance captain was tasked with picking 2 other robots to compete with us in the championship rounds. The 5th place finish was the best in our 15-year team history.
Wow.
Awesome.
Impressive list of accomplishments for all of our students. It's very amazing, and the robotics team, the highest ever, and that's so fun to watch too when you can see it. Okay, so we'll go on with public input, and this is a time for the public, and I will call you up. I have the cards. Are there any more cards that I haven't received? Okay. Please know that there is a 3-minute limit on public input, and that you should not address any specific names in any derogatory ways, and we will get back to you if you have specific questions at a later time, not during this public comment time. So the first person is Gene Getker, and he is an ISD community member.
Thank you.
Welcome, Gene.
I'm Gene Getker, and no, I don't have children in school anymore, but I am a taxpayer. And I started coming in January of last year regarding CRT. And I know you don't necessarily call it that anymore. You call it other names, equity training or whatever it is. But I never felt that I received a straight answer. That's why I came in the first place. I wasn't getting a straight answer. And I don't feel that it seemed like you were saying that you didn't practice it in our school system. But everything I see indicates you do. And if you don't, why not just straight out ban it? I think you would have the power to do that. And I think the I read the rules when I was sitting here waiting for these meetings. I don't like them. I think it's a way for the board not to have to answer to the public. And the answers that we do get back, email or whatever, does not seem to be straight answers. So just ban it. And I had one other thing I wanted to mention that I just heard the last few days actually, but I guess it's been around for a long time. Furry. Have any of you heard that mentioned in the schools? Apparently there's I heard Sunday that they had put litter boxes in the bathrooms. And because some of the kids are pretending they're, I don't know what it is, pretending they're cats or something. And if that's what's going on, what in the heck is the school doing about it? It doesn't make sense to me, and I would think that you people are elected to keep your fingers on what's going on, and should put a stop to it. It sounds ridiculous if what I'm hearing is true. I've heard it twice at two different meetings since Sunday, and so apparently everybody else knows about it. But that's all I wanted to say. If we're teaching that or allowing that, we're condoning it, in other words. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm not going to answer Jean's questions directly, but I do want to state a couple of things. One, Jean, thank you for being so concerned about our schools, and I know I talked with you on the phone about CRT in the past and thought I had answered all your questions. So I'm very willing to talk to any resident on the phone, and I just wanted people to know that I have talked to Jean. And then two, there are no litter boxes in our school at all, and that's a rumor that's gotten out of hand, so thank you.
It's going around. I've heard it more than once since
Doesn't
Sunday.
make it true.
Doesn't make,
Pardon?
yep, doesn't make it true.
Doesn't make it true.
No, and that's why I wanted to
So
find
thank you,
out.
and thank you for allowing me to clarify that there are no litter boxes in our schools. Okay, next up is Nick Hillman. Do we have a timer going? Oh, I got my clock here, so I'll do it.
Hi, I'm Nick Hillman. Here we are again, and it's interesting to me to find out more information about why you would possibly not listen to the public on the illegal mask mandate issued on our kids and continue to push through with your own ways. Regardless, you are violating parent and child rights. Under the ESSER 3 application for FIN 161, it states, and the general agreement to comply with all applicable federal laws, executive orders, and regulations. So because there was an executive order from Timmy the Tyrant, did you have to enforce the mask mandate? That's a question. Did you have to because you signed the ESSER 3 funding? Because his mandate violated the Constitution, it made it null and void. None of the surrounding school districts had a mask mandate at all, as previously pointed out in the past. So did you take the funding for the health and safety of the kids, which is part of your responsibility, or was it just for the $11,171,522.56? Also a question. So another question that I have on top of those questions, how can you sign an agreement that states you have to follow executive orders, but yet it also says you have to follow federal law and the Constitution? It contradicts itself, and it was accepted by this district. Regardless of all that, it's time for all you to go. There's a gentleman from the crowd who has a petition for all of you, and he will hand it out at this time.
Last name.
Spear.
Just want to make sure I give you the right one. Thank you. And Boyles, there's a petition for you. Director Nelson. Lane? Nope. Get the right one, right? I know you're not Charles. Jenna? No? Heidi.
Okay, thank you, and we will take a look at your petition after the meeting.
That's not a petition, you just got served $5 million apiece, as promised.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Doug Kern.
Well, I really feel bad that I missed the equity meeting. I really wanted to be there, but I was on Region 5. But it would have been really good to be there. The comment that I got is, with COVID-19 and stipends and all the mental health and the health issues that we've got from the masking, with the health reports that were given out by the vice superintendent, it would be really, really nice if we could get any kind of report on the spike in the mental health issues from masking. The mental health issues or the health issues, because I know they're out there, because the numbers are just starting to come out on what happened.
Sorry.
So I believe it would be a better use of our money than paying out stipends, giving out bonuses. So with the COVID money, I think that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And finally, we have Julie Becker, who is a parent of an ISD 181 student.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Becker. I have 4 kids within the school district. As appointed officials and leaders of the school district of 181, you have signed oaths of office. These oaths of office require you to uphold the Constitution of the United States and that of our state of Minnesota. Some of you have failed to honor the oaths and overstepped unlawfully in mandating COVID measures such as, but not limited to, masking, tracing, lockdowns, quarantines, and reserving the right to enforce such mandates again whenever you see fit. Again, at this time, you are personally and publicly being served notice of claim and affidavit of fact. You have 48 hours to comply to the demands outlined in the notice of claim, and if no action is taken, a filing will be made against your insurance. Thank you kindly for your immediate attention in this matter.
Mr. Blacklance? Gianna?
Hopefully I can get rid of these there, so it doesn't beep again. Thank you, everyone, and we will go on to the approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting on February 14th.
I'll move to approval.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. And then we have the consent calendar. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
First from Director Sjogren, a second from Director Spear. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And next up, we have several presentations. The first one is on our World's Best Workforce Kindergarten Readiness Update.
Good afternoon, everyone. While Janet helps me switch this over, I'll just introduce myself for those who haven't met me. My name is Tani Flowers. I'm the Assistant Director of Community Ed, and I oversee early childhood. So just briefly, I'm going to touch on the early childhood section of the World's Best Workforce. And just give you a quick little overview of the programs that are involved in early childhood. So across the district, we serve ECFE, so that's early childhood family education, where parents and students come together 1 day a week. We also provide school readiness preschool.
Time's up.
Yeah, I know, sorry about that. No, I'm fine, go ahead.
I am not meant to be the timekeeper. That's for sure.
Noted. Well, so we also serve school readiness preschool. That's for 3 to 5 year olds. And there's a variety of schedules for that. And then a couple of years ago, we combined our childcare programming. So we offer kind of a wraparound or extended day opportunity for families. As we know, childcare is very difficult, and as well as just being able to provide a wraparound option so that families can get preschool as well as the childcare that's needed for each unique schedule of family. We also, across the district, serve early childhood special ed programming that's overseen by Julie Domino, and then our early childhood screening for all 3 to 5-year-olds prior to entering kindergarten. So that's a quick synopsis. We serve at our new Warrior Early Learning Center, which we are so grateful for. It's been a great addition and a great space for us this year. We also have programming at our Nisswa Elementary, and right now, currently, we have programming here at the Washington Building. So our piece of the World's Best Workforce legislation states that we will work to have all students ready for kindergarten. We do this in a variety of ways. The goal that we have listed in that workforce is kindergarten readiness, and that the percentage of children proficient on the early childhood summative assessment in reading will increase from 71.4% in 2021, and that will increase to 74.4% in 2022. So we focus our goal within the reading, but we prioritize that in various different ways. So primary focus for us in early childhood is that ready to learn. We can't really work on that reading and those skills in emergent reading unless the kids are ready to learn. So that social emotional development is always our top priority. Helping students learn those classroom rules, the routines, the expectations of how they move across the classroom, throughout the buildings, and work on those expectations, and a high priority in those interactions with peers, how they socialize, how they learn play skills, how they problem solve and work through those skills with their peers and with the adults in the room. So as we're working through those ready to learn skills, we can also build that foundation for those emergent reading skills. So within that summative assessment that we work on with kindergarten readiness, we're focusing on these areas. So book knowledge, alphabet letters, rhyming, story sequencing, emergent reading skills. We do that in a variety of ways. A lot of that is student-led, play-based learning, as well as some curriculum work that we use to support that learning through station work and really intentional play across the learning environment that we have within early childhood. A main focus that we have too is that consistency and that common language. So we've worked extensively on that over the course of the last 5 to 7 years to really develop those common language and the common practice across all of not only early childhood, but also that transition into kindergarten. So we're starting to use those similar phrases and the similar language that they're using within kindergarten as well, so that they can get used to that and they can transfer that information over to kindergarten as well. We do focus on the early childhood indicators of progress. That was what we call for our kindergarten, or like kindergarten standards. The state calls them early childhood indicators of progress. A couple of things I just wanted to highlight. I think it's really important to understand what the district does to get kids ready for kindergarten. That definition can mean many things for many families. So what does it mean to be ready for K? So one of the things that we look at is we do have an early childhood progress report. We don't necessarily call it a report card. That seems pretty intense for an early childhood student, but we do want to make sure that we're supporting kids on that progress, that we're seeing progress in those indicators of progress and the standards that we have. And we also align that with kindergarten so that we make sure that families start to see the numbering system that they'll see when they enter kindergarten. It also makes sense to kindergarten teachers so that they can also see the progress that the kids made throughout their early childhood experience, and then also what that looks like for them as they transition into kindergarten. So that is aligned with kindergarten. We also focus a lot on that early childhood screening to get kids ready for kindergarten. We want to do that screening early. It's recommended that that screening takes place at 3 years old. A lot of families have a misconception about that. That used to be called kindergarten screening. So they all thought it was supposed to be done right before kindergarten. But when we do it earlier, we can really help support those students that might need a little extra boost or a little bit of extra attention in whatever area that might be. That might be health and development, that might be academic or social skills. And so we've helped each family with those resources when they come in for that screening. We've also done a lot of screenings out into the community and are increasing that within childcare as well. So another thing that we help support is the kindergarten Roundup, which is coming up on March 23rd. It's really exciting when little kids start to show their little postcards that they received. It's kind of a chapter, a big deal for them. So we do support that kindergarten Roundup to kind of start to get them used to what the school building looks like. They'll get to see their classrooms and learn a little bit more about what the beginning of the year will look like. The other thing we focus a lot on, and Julie Domino leads that, is the transition meetings as students that receive early childhood special ed service, as they transition into kindergarten. It's really important that that information is transferred over, and those kindergarten and elementary teams have that background of what they've experienced, where the kids are at developmentally, and also that the parents feel supported in that transition as well. We also do Kinder Camp in August, which is always so exciting when we get to that August time. And those incoming kindergartners really value that. Those families value that. So that's one thing that we also support. A couple of the things that we're looking forward to, a lot of these things we're starting to do really well in and really expanding in, and over the last couple of years have really had to take a step back with. So we worked really hard to support area daycares with that social emotional framework. So again, those consistencies in that common language of the voice volume chart. What does an expectation look like, and how can we use common problem solving language? We've been supporting daycares across the community in that, and we really do hope to continue to get back to that and increase that as well. We also look forward to doing more of those reverse observations. We did a lot of that prior to COVID, where early childhood would go observe kindergarten, kindergarten would come and observe early childhood, just so that they can see where kids are at when they transition and where are kids coming from, because that's really important when kids transition into a bigger school, a bigger classroom setting, and what that environment looks like, so that we can continue to be as consistent as possible. We have been working on collecting additional data. It's been really fascinating to start to put, Sue helps us put the data pieces together to look at kids that have been in early childhood. What does their OS testing look like when they come into kindergarten? How does that look when they move through the elementary grades and into that read well by third grade? So we're starting to increase that. Had to take a few steps back with that, but are looking forward to increasing that as well. And then the increasing opportunities that we have in early childhood and enrollment as we continue to grow into our Warrior Early Learning Center space and just continue to provide more and more opportunities for families across the community. One thing I just wanted to note, we are a parent aware rated program. So when we look at getting kids ready for kindergarten, we have all of those pieces in place. We have high quality staff, lots of professional development. We follow a curriculum and assessment. We are in the middle of a reviewing curriculum. Our current curriculum is out of print, so we're working on finding the next best fit for us. We do lead a lot of that discussion in the region too. We are a highly looked at district from across the state to see what is Brainerd doing, what assessments are they using, what curriculum are they using, and how we flow through that. And we also are looking further into some additional assessment pieces as well that have been continued to be recommended from the state. So you might see some of those changes coming down the pike. So questions that you have, that's a little synopsis of Ready for K and how we fit into the world's best workforce. So.
Great. I have a couple questions. Well,
Sure.
one that you said you support daycares. Does that mean other preschools too?
Yes, we try to. Yep.
Okay.
And one of the ways that we have done that is we created our assessment tool and then have provided that free tool to really any area
Anyone that
daycare,
wants it.
preschool.
And I think also not just our social emotional learning, but like I think it was called the Big Book or whatever. You shared some of those resources also.
Yes, our entire assessment. And we've also provided some curriculum training. We've had some staff go into the Y and support the Y in trainings. And yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And then my other question is just, it seems like we're growing in the preschool area. More people want to get in. So how has the Warrior Early Learning Center impacted that?
Yes, well, that's a good question. We are slightly increased in enrollment in childcare. We do have some waiting lists in certain areas. We do have a little bit of decrease in certain areas as well. Part of that was some mask mandates and also just the comfort level of families in the last couple of years. But I do see lots of inquiry now. Our preschool packet for registration was just launched this week, so there's a lot of interest in what we're going to be offering. Preschool is going to look a little different for Washington because of the remodeling that's happening here now. These classrooms at Washington will move to the Warrior Early Learning Center for that space for next year, and then we'll move back after that. So we're playing around with space and capacity and learning to grow and expand that support. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
You gonna drive there, Angie?
I'm gonna drive.
Okay.
You're gonna talk. I'm gonna sit in the. Okay. All right. Okay, now we have our COVID-19 quick informational update.
I think after this, just after we give you this quick update, our goal will then be to not have formal presentations and just leave the data on our website, but we'll take direction from you as the board. I wish Director Hagelin was here because it'll be the first time I think I met his slide mandate. So, so if you could just pass that on, I'd really appreciate that I just hit slideshow.
It's not letting me present. Hit the slideshow.
Hit slideshow, yeah.
Up on there.
There you go.
There we go.
We did get the right date on ours, yeah. Make note of that too. So you can see, this is just giving you the data for the entire year. So you can see we are now at levels of right around where before we started. So that's very exciting. We've definitely seen that downward trend and it's staying there, which is happening. And then I just wanted to show you this because that's green. It's the first time we've seen green. So we continue to be in very low transmission, and we're even lower this week as we've been looking at our data. And just reminders, we've moved to strongly recommended. We moved from required to strongly recommended on buses. There was a little confusion. They released that late. So as we gave out a weekend reminder about just remember the federal mandate's still in place, and then they switched it. So we turned around and let everybody know. So working with Reichert's, they were excited about that too. So that was effective on February 25th. Just overall, during the 21-22 school year, we've had 21% of our students and 27% of our staff tested positive for COVID. And then the county estimate is about 24.2. So that's just looking at the September to now data. That doesn't go into look at our data prior to that. We still have weekly screening remaining for our staff. Rapid test kits are still available for anybody seeking a rapid test kit. And then we do have the KN95 mask available for students and staff that are requesting them. So, any questions?
I hear none. No. Good news. Oh,
Very good
wait.
news.
No, I was just trying to listen to the silence. For a
I
minute.
know. That's a very, said, I'm looking forward to not doing this portion of the work. So we'll just continue to update the data. The data's updated weekly, so anybody can find that data and they can find it by buildings. We still have parents who are very concerned within certain buildings or settings and programs. So that's updated every Friday at 4, and it'll be updated through the remainder of the year.
Wonderful. And I would say you don't have to report on this unless there's some major development. Would everyone agree with that?
To that point, I mean, you're still obviously coordinating with the county
Yes.
on an ongoing basis and comparing what data we do have. And if, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but it seems like the media doesn't think COVID even exists anymore at all.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, I'd be curious to see if there's, if anybody starts to identify another emerging.
I mean, it's gonna be here, and we know it's gonna be here, and so we still have, we were on weekly check-ins, now we've gone to bi-monthly check-ins where we're working directly with Cass and Crow Wing County, just because of the overlap of spaces and where our kids are at. And it's the same, they're seeing it similar across, and so, but we'll make sure we are still actively engaged and involved with that work. Just enjoying a little
Everybody knock on anything wooden that you can think of that we don't see.
Enjoying a little reprieve.
Any other surges or new variants or any of that junk.
Yeah. Okay, but that's all we have.
Thanks, Angie. Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have for action items, and first is our Blueprint 181 project update and Wesby presentation.
I think it's right down there. If you want to go through it.
Afternoon, I'm Mark with ICS. Lindsay?
I'm Lindsay Krenz with Witzith.
We're going to go through the Wesby design development presentation. Is it? Yes. I don't know how to make it full screen without ruining something. I might not try it. So we'll talk through this kind of the scope of the project, and then the estimate and schedule, and then let you guys determine if we're ready to move to the construction documents. So Lindsay, without further ado, I'd like to talk about the scope.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll keep the update on Wesby relatively short. Two of our project overall goals was to create the safe and secure entrances to the building. So as Mark has highlighted here on the screen, we're maintaining the existing entrances. We've accommodated for ADA access. And then we've reinstated the interior vestibule doors. So we've got that safe and secure entrance, or what we've been calling kind of that fishbowl concept with the other buildings, coming in off of each of those front entrances off of Oak Street on the north side of our building. So on the right-hand side of your screen, we have the ADA ramp on the exterior of the building, and we'll be splitting that ramp in the inside of our vestibule, which will allow us direct access then into our welcome center. So we're just taking the welcome center and reconfiguring that slightly. We're providing a nice waiting area, reception area, a really nice direct face to the community when you come into that welcome center. We also have a private office and collaboration spaces there. To the right-hand side of that east vestibule, we have the transportation office, so two private offices, and again, kind of that meeting space out front there. Kind of transitioning to the west, in the middle of the two halves of the Welcome Center is a really nice flexible space. This space could be used for training purposes. We're providing some plumbing fixtures and countertops similar to like what we would have in this room for catered events, maybe events after any performances in Tornstrom. So a really nice flexible space right at the heart and the center of the Wesby main level. Transitioning more towards the west, this is the community ed office. So again, if you're coming in that west entrance off of Oak Street, we have that safe and secure entrance with a direct entrance into the community ed office. So we've got a nice reception area there, waiting area, a couple touchdown workstations, and then also a private office. And then the furthest portion there on the screen would be the communications office. So two private spaces there with an open work area in front. So that whole welcome center, the goal was to have any public-facing personnel be located right off of Oak Street, so that the community members could come in, have that safe and secure access, and we no longer have to have people transferring from different floors and different departments within this building. So just one kind of nice centralized touchdown spot there. Another highlight of this plan, there's just kind of a snippet on the bottom of the screen. This would actually be on the back of the building, so the south side off of Pine Street. So what we're doing is we're going to be reinstating one of the entrances into the old gymnasium on the back of the building. We'll be providing an ADA lift on the exterior of the building as well to provide accessibility here. And what this will be a nice touchdown area for the early childhood program. Parents will have the direct access off of Pine Street. So we'll be removing that parent pickup drop off of the busy Oak Street, moving that to the back of the building on the more quiet street there. So this will give parents a really nice opportunity to come into the building, drop their kids off at the program, touch in with someone that would be at that station, and then be able to exit back out onto Pine Street. So really nice accommodations there. A few of the other project goals, updating the toilet rooms around the building. So all of the existing toilet rooms will be created to maintain ADA accessibility throughout the building. We're also providing some additional toilet rooms to help support the early childhood function, and then also to provide some of those family-style toilet rooms. So those those toilet rooms that you can enter into as a group of a young family or just as an individual. So really nice ADA access provided through that method as well.
So that's on all 3 floors?
Yes, it is, correct.
Yeah, what we're showing here is just kind of a general overview. This is what first floor is going to look like, but second and third floor get updates as well.
They're kind of a mirror image of all of one another as you work your way up through the building.
I also have slide requirements that I have to follow. So.
A few other design highlights. We talked about the Welcome Center and the Community Ed office being located right off of Oak Street, the early childhood reception area, The historic preservation of this building is unique. I think this is the first time we've seen the really historic nature of the building being kind of preserved and enhanced. So though, through the work of some of the material selections and ceiling heights, we'll be preserving the historic character of the building to the best of our ability. New ceilings and lighting throughout. So Mark's got a really nice diagram of that. Again, this is just the first level, but this will be translated up to the second level as well. So the main corridors and the exterior spaces around the perimeter of the building will all be provided with new ceilings and lights, and that's a direct reflection on the mechanical upgrades and the indoor air quality upgrades that will be provided throughout the building. So a lot of work there that you really won't see because it's tucked up above that ceiling, but nonetheless it'll help with acoustics, lighting values, and then also that indoor air quality throughout the whole building.
I think that's it for the
I
update.
think so.
All right, moving to the next slide here. So the design development estimate. Over on the right-hand side, you see schematic design, and in the center, you can see design development. So that's kind of the trend of the estimate that we're seeing. And we are trending on budget right now, and that's the story that's being told here is that we're identifying what scope is needed, including it in the project, and then also we met carefully with user groups to make sure we were meeting their needs. And we're able to right size what the project needs to look like with to meet what they need, as well as be within the budget that we have for construction. So that's right now we're on budget, and it continues to look that way. We're keeping an eye on the market, which is not an easy thing to do considering prices change hourly. So as we continue to progress and get closer to construction, that will continue to update as well. And real quick on project schedule. So this is, sorry, really tiny, but the intent here is to continue to progress through pre-construction as we are now until we get to the fall. And in the fall, we'll start preparing for construction. And one of the key points there is the Welcome Center and leaving that open for parents to use so that we don't have them move and then have mass confusion before we're getting started or getting ready for school. We're working on move-out plans on where everybody's going to go and operate out during the school year for this building specifically at that same time, and have move-out plans and are working through the timeline for that. And then kind of the bulk of this schedule that you see up there is moving through first floor to second floor, then lower level and third floor. And the updates that we have there, and that's just based on the amount of work that we have in each space. And then finally, we have owner move-in and training and punch list activities towards the end, which opens us up for the following school year in 2023. So September, I have September 1 is the date there, which is I think the Friday before Labor Day, excuse me.
So the lower level, the only thing in the lower level is the mechanical stuff.
Right, yep, there's, as far as public facing spaces, yes, there's a couple rooms that get new ceilings, and we have, so we can put in diffusers and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But then there's a whole tunnel system and a lot of interesting stuff that nobody ever sees. It's gonna get redone, so. Any other questions?
It's exciting.
It is. It's coming along.
So we need a motion to approve the Wesby design documents, correct?
Yep, and that's all included in the appendix that we sent out. It's got the drawings, it has the estimate and schedule included, so you can actually read them and see them instead of what was on the presentation.
I'll move for approval of the design development to move into the construction document phase as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first from Director Boyles, a second from Director Blacklance. Any further discussion? I'm excited to see the front, I really am. And, oh, I did have one other question. The back, the lift, that's enclosed, right? Or covered or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You couldn't really tell from those.
Yeah, it won't be exposed.
I know we talked about that previously, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Chair Nelson, can I just ask an overall construction project question, because I get lost sometimes and I think I'm tracking I don't know if this is a question for Damien. People ask me sometimes, when is this all going to be done? Is it fair that, will this wrap it up between Wesby and the A-wing at the high school by fall of 2023?
Yes, this is the
Is
last
that the
project.
right answer to tell people that should all go as planned? This construction project is done.
Yeah, so I think we're currently about 80% complete. And at the end of summer, everything will be complete minus close out the punch list on all 13 of the projects. Wesby will be the last remaining project, which will bring us to the following spring.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just want to make sure I was giving people the right answer when they
Good,
ask.
good
me.
question, yeah, and it's good to have that.
One
It-
last hard summer here. So.
But we do get spring break this year. Okay, we'll go on to approval of the name change for the Transition Plus program. And Amy Jordan is coming up.
Hi, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hi. I don't have a formal presentation, I guess. I just wanted to see if anyone had any questions about our desire to change. The transition programs are currently named Brainerd Transition Plus. That was a this year name. Last year and years prior, they were the STARS program and Paul Bunyan Transition Plus. And so next year, as we move into our new beautiful space, Lincoln Education Center, we would like to call that group or that program the Atlas program. So area transition learning and skills is what that means.
Okay, and so there's no change to the signage of the
There's no
outside of the
signage,
building?
it's nothing on the building, it's not a name, it's just really more of a department name, I would call it. As they're, they've been separate for years. Now they're together and it's going fantastic. But they're not really in their space yet. So we had kind of a transitional name to that program this year.
So you need a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, I move to approve the name change for the Transition Plus program to Atlas, which is Area Transition Learning and Skills, as presented.
Thank you.
A second.
Okay, thank you. First from Director Blacklands, a second from Director Spear. Any further discussion?
I like it. It's nice and clean.
Yeah, and it gives them kind of a little identity.
Yeah,
inside
I
the
think it's
building
cool.
as well.
So we'll have a new name and a new building and, yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the students will be excited. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we're going to hear about the pay equity report findings from Angie Bennett. Afternoon.
Okay, I think you get to stick with me for the remainder of the meeting, so I'll get comfy. So pay equity is, you may be familiar, you may not. It is something that we need to do for compliance every 3 years at the district to ensure that we are being fair to both genders in regard to pay. So it's, the purpose of it is to make sure we're not discriminating based on gender in employment. We have completed the testing. There's a statistical analysis test, a salary range test, an exceptional service pay test, and I'm happy to report that Brainerd Public Schools is fully in compliance. So just coming to report the good news, and then we will submit that off, and that's about it. And then we'll review it again in another 3 years.
According to our agenda, we need a motion to approve that. Is that correct?
Could be.
Okay.
I know we need to bring it to the board for acceptance of the report findings.
I move to approve the ratification of the,
No.
oops. I move to approve the pay equity report findings as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay. First from Director Blacklands, a second from Director Boyles. Any further discussion? Thank you for doing this work. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And I will thank Aletha Roxburgh for doing
The work.
I'm going to defer.
Okay.
The next up is the educational assistant contract. So I don't know if you recall from the last time we presented, they had made a request to change it from educational assistant to paraprofessional. We made that in our last contract period. Upon review this time, because of the way the union was created, they have to refer back to the educational assistant title at this point, so you will see that change throughout the contract. We were very excited to meet with this group and make some changes moving forward. They have broke away from the same as teacher language for the health insurance. And we are still opening up all plans, as we are hoping to do with all groups. We were able to increase our step 1 to become more marketable with other districts in our area, and then provide an increase on additional steps, increase longevity and 403B contributions, and then create some different language about e-learning days, as that has kind of shifted from the traditional snow day and the protocols surrounding that to now we are actually in session. So what does that mean for the paras? Our educational assistants. See, it's going to take me a bit to get used to that. So other than that, it was mostly just further clarifying language, cleanup, that kind of stuff. But any questions about that one?
Just a comment. So as usual, you and your team did excellent work on this one. This
Thank you.
could have been a little rougher than it was, and I think
they were a good
the way
group
you
to work
handled it
with.
was really, really well done.
Yes, kudos. Would you like to make a motion, Director Boyles?
Sure, why not? I'll move to approve the ratification of the educational professional, what is it?
Educational assistant.
Educational assistance contract for 2021-22 and 2022-23 school years as presented.
First from Director Boyles, a second from Director Schokren. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. And I think I'm still next up, right? I don't have my agenda here, so last one. We also have been meeting with the group of directors, assistant directors, and deans to kind of talk through what their priorities were with compensation and benefits. This is a non-union group. They're at-will employees. So we're kind of shifting a little bit to, instead of calling it a master agreement contract, really it is a compensation and benefits handbook, but we still wanting to honor what is important to the group, making sure we're in alignment with other districts, doing the same comparative analysis as we always do with all of our groups. So you will notice some changes in this one. The title in and of itself is, instead of a contract, it is a handbook more so. We are doing a 2-year agreement, so we will follow the kind of the language within this handbook for the full 2 years. So basically, another big shift I think you'll see in this from the last one is we're really breaking apart the deans. The deans have been covered under this agreement. I'm not sure from before my time, but I'm not sure when that initially started, but theirs is a little tricky because they also reference back to the teacher contract. And so really trying to clarify within this agreement, what does that mean for the deans? Like, what is applicable to the deans in this versus what is applicable in the teacher contract? So really just trying to define that out. We did agree to an increase of wages over the 2-year period. We added the new Director of Student Support Services and Equity position to it. And we changed the structure of non-contract time, instead of just kind of a flat non-contract time across all, to really longevity with the district and kind of accruing some additional time off for individuals. And we're able to increase the 403B contribution for the group as well. Any questions on this one?
Thank you, Angie. That sounds like a step in the right direction to move towards a kind of a handbook, did you call it?
Yep, and we are hoping to do this with some of our other employees. Right now, we have kind of a book of one-pagers to try and, so everybody's really clear what benefits they have, further explanation, kind of getting more comprehensive and more consistent across employees, so people know what to expect and they can advocate for what's important for them.
That's great.
I move to approve the ratification of the directors, assistant directors, and dean's contract for 2021-22 and 22-23 school years as presented.
I'll second.
And we should call that a handbook, not a contract. That's it.
Right. Because we don't have contracts with at-will employees. Yep.
Not to change my motion.
I don't think, it's a clarification. Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Angie, for
Thank you,
being,
Angie.
we needed this professionalism in our district. So thank you. Okay, we're on to informational items. And first up is Jana Shogren with the Brainerd Public Schools Foundation update.
Yeah, so the scholarship application cycle closed on February 28th. It looks like we had 210 students submit applications, which is up 7% from last year, so that's great. Now the process shifts into the review mode, so we have 40 folks in the community who have volunteered to be reviewers for scholarship applications. And just so people understand that process a little bit, it's a blind review. So basically reviewers have access to the students' academics, extracurricular activities, and essay answers. They don't see that it's, you know, Jana Shogren applying for this, so it removes the bias. They're really just reviewing based on the merits of what they see the student has accomplished and the essay answers they've given. The anticipated wrap-up for reviews is March 22nd, and for those who will be waiting to find out, the goal is to notify students by April 8th. So that's when people can log into that portal and anticipate being notified. And then senior recognition night is on May 11th, and so that's when we gather, and those who provide the scholarships get to be matched up with the student who received their scholarship. So it's a really neat night. And then as a part of the big event, we do the Dream Big project. And so this year's Dream Big project raised $2,000, and the funds will be designated to LEC for the creation of a food pantry in their facility. A lot of our buildings have food pantries for students who have food security issues, and that was one of the buildings that was identified that did not have a pantry. So we're going to be able to establish a pantry there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Director Shogren? Next up is an Equity Advisory Task Force update.
Okay, thank you. The first thing, we met yesterday, and what we talked about in that meeting was our first, we processed our first community gathering that took place with good dialogue. And as you remember, that one was postponed due to snowstorm. And the group would like to thank everybody who attended to that dialogue as well, which is very much a good start, good healthy start. Also, we were working on the first bucket, which is student safety and engagement. And we started by partnering district data with reading and research to locate overlap in experiences to help create guidance and questions that will help district leadership in their decisions. As we approach having the pieces for our leadership, a discussion about ensuring that our leadership was prepared to receive them also took place. We talked about the process by which this information will be shared with those needing to hear it and utilize it in their decision-making. So that's my update for the Equity Task Force.
Yeah, I was at the community gathering. I thought it went really well. Erin Cargar did a great job facilitating, and I think it started to open up discussion, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes, absolutely. And our next Equity Task Force, I apologize, will take place Tuesday, April 5th from 2 to 3 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Director Blacklands?
Can we have an introduction too?
Oh, and then we have Director Murtha would like to introduce our newest, maybe not our newest employee, but a new employee.
She's a veteran. She's been here a week. Please let me introduce and welcome to Brainerd Public Schools and to the Department of Teaching and Learning, Dr. Candace Burkhart. She is our new Director of Student Support Services and Equity. She'll be overseeing the work of equity in the district along with our RTI MTSS system, our multi-tiered system of student support. She will also be responsible for overseeing the work of our ELL teachers, American Indian Education liaisons, and she'll be coordinating work with our speech language pathologists, our interpreters, and our collaborative workers, among many other things and other duties as assigned. Dr. Burkhardt.
Hello, Director. It's nice to meet all of you. I'm thrilled to be here and to get to join you today. And just really want to thank you for your commitment to equity in the Brainerd Lakes area. I've been in the metro and lived in Crosby and been really admiring from afar all the work that you're doing, and just really thrilled to join the team. I've been out in buildings the last few days and getting to know teachers and hearing from them, and I think we have a lot of really great work to do.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, yeah.
Any questions for Dr. Burkhardt? Okay, thank you very much for your time.
And now we have the business services report with Marcy Lord. You weren't quite as quick there.
Yeah, no. Good afternoon. The financial report is in your packet. General fund is tracking nicely. It's about 0.67% up from last year. The food service fund is up 8.11 from last year. However, I wanted to note that in 1920 we were at about 55.21, which is more in line with what's normal. Last year was kind of an unusual year, as you've heard me say over and over. Community service fund, same thing. It's up 3.6%, and that's because of last year. In 1920 it was 50.72, so tracking more closely with the 1920 school year. The building construction fund, nothing really to note there. Debt service and both debt service funds, you'll see those are 100%. All the payments have been made for the year, so there really won't be any other payments made. And the enrollment report we'll have in April will be for March and April, just an FYI there. That's why you didn't see that today. And then we've been getting legislative updates. You know, there's a lot of bills being proposed. The biggest one is there is a bill proposed at the House to link general education formula to inflation. So that would be awesome if that happened, but it is a bill, so we will see how it plays out. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy.
Okay, Superintendent Larson is not here, so she does not have a report, but I just want to give Dr. Hahn an opportunity to, do you have anything else to share?
It's just been an exciting time. I mean, I look at our staff and I think of Jack Freeman, our new AD, and when you look at all the accomplishments that happened this winter, I don't think our poor friend Jack has slept much. Parents have been involved. It's just really exciting to see our kids and the energy and the things that they're doing. So that's just a bucket filler for all of us. It's kept us really busy. So I think as people approach into the first spring break in a couple of years, we have some staff pretty excited to experience the 40-degree weather next week. But it's been an exciting time, so it's a great school year.
Wonderful. And I just wanted to note too that Superintendent Larson is down at the Massa Spring Conference. She's receiving an award, and I can't remember the name of the award it is.
Region 5 Administrator of the Year.
Okay, so congratulations to Superintendent Larson too. That's pretty exciting. Future meetings are all there. I'm not going to read them all out because there's a lot of them with all of our special board meetings. But please note that and I think we have a separate item here about upcoming dedications of some of our elementaries. And our next board meeting will be April 4th. It's a special board meeting at noon. And I think that's about it. Is there anything else to be discussed?
I think those dedication dates will be changed, so.
Oh, they might be changing? Okay, they're tentative dates.
They're for sure changing.
They're for sure changing, okay. Never mind then. Okay, so I see nothing else. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Director Blacklands.
Second.
Thank you, Director Spear. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.